I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember Gene Fulmer's. We went there at least 2 or 3 times. Well, because we went up from, the first time we went was going up from Cruces to Pasco. Then we came back down from Pasco to Tucson. Then me and Dad went back up from Tucson to Colville. Then we flew back down to Tucson and came back up with Mom and the girls from from Tucson to Addie, and then up to to Colville and Addie. So I've been up and through there. We went at least 2 to 3 times to Gene Fulmer's. Fistful of Pancakes was my favorite. Mom liked it too because they had all the old pictures. Gene Fulmer was a middleweight. He fought Sugar Ray Robinson and God dang it, I'm trying to remember some of the other guys. I can't remember their names, but they were very famous middleweights back in the. And he fought them all. I don't know if he beat them all, but he fought them all. I don't know if he beat any of them. I think he fought them and they beat him. But he had all the pictures up. And you go through the restaurant, and I would sit there and say, well, he lost to, being the pragmatic kid that I'm, but he lost to all these guys. Yeah, but he was a professional boxer that got a fight for the championship against these guys. It's like, oh, okay, that's what Mom would explain. I'm like, okay, I get it. Okay. That's interesting. But yeah, Gene Fulmer's. And they had all those silver dollar things just like they do in San Antonio at the Silver Dollar. They had all those little things and all the memorabilia and stuff. It was a neat little place. He had a restaurant and used his fame as a boxer, being a white boxer, a great white hope boxer in the 50s in Utah to take care of his family, and everybody would come and have breakfast at Gene Fulmer's. Of course, I guess it was probably steakhouse and stuff too, but we always went for breakfast. But interesting, huh? Because, boxers, breakfast and steak, right? I'm watching the foosball games. BYU and the Pirates. And now I'm watching the Panthers and the Commodores. Seeing Diego Pavia's family all. Well, he moved. He's a typical New Mexican, man. He moved all his family out to Nashville with them. He got a house. He says mom got hurt going into the house. Slipped and fell or something. So I think that's what happened. They said something about that thing, but he got her a house, You ever seen that movie with Derwin Hayward about James Cleveland Owens, Jesse? He bought his coach a new car. And I said, what's that smell? That's a new car smell, coach. He got him a new car. He never had a new car in his life. And he was a track coach at a black school. He was a white track coach at a black school, so he probably has a new car smell, coach. That's funny, but it's true. It's true. Some people lived in old houses and mold and mildew and stuff, and then they go into a new place with all the new smell. And the hell's that smell? It smells weird. It'd be like coming from a third world country, the United States, and going to the grocery store. What the hell? What are the? And so just that, that plastic smell, that sanitized smell yeah. I think most of that kind of stuff is good intent. It's good intent. I've been watching a lot of things with the universities that I'm connected to. And a lot of them are very invested and manipulated in the medical industry, which is very sad. It's hard talking to people. You don't want to explain it to people. I talked to that one beautiful little nurse at Walmart. When I talked to her, and she said, I believe you. And I explained to her about cancer, and when I talked to the neurosurgeon guy, and she said, you're right. She wasn't agreeing with me to mute me. I understand and I agree. And a lot of people involved in that profession that are like, no, it's like Edison. It's, today's nutritionist is tomorrow's physician. What about pancakes and bacon? in a healthy environment with not a lot of stress and good activity. Okay. And you got to mix in the vegetables and other stuff. One of the things that works really well for me, I don't know about anybody else, but works really well for me in this environment is I think it works with Southwesterners really good is aloe and apple. But when you get it out, you gotta be prepared to be able to have saline soap and wash your bum, before you do activity during the day, and wash it. Quite frankly, if you're gonna go for a walk or you're gonna exercise, you want to wash your bum and get any of the stuff that what acts with the toxins coming out of your rectum, or you could end up developing polyps on your rectum, which happened to me during 2020, and I got just told by the little voices in my head, saline soap, wash your butt. And that's when we were working on the roof, and I'd have to go to the bathroom because I was detoxing because I was out in the sunlight on top of the roof all day. And then I would poop, and I'd have to hurry back because it was stressing Dad out. So I like stressing him out. It's hard on him. He's old school, and he's manipulated by people that keep him in his old school wheelhouse. And it's hard on him. He'd get a little short of patience with me because I'm not an old school person as far as if, I why are we doing that? Because money, you need money to live. Oh, fuck, here we go again. I'm that type of person, no, that doesn't, me at the Mormon church, 4 years old, before I was even 4. No, it's wrong for the innocent person to pay for. No, we watched that on the Lone Ranger and Tonto with Butch Cavendish and shit. No. So I don't know if any of y'all remember Gene Fulmers, though. I was sitting there playing with my Utah dynasty, and our recruiting's going great. Colorado knocked us off, so we didn't get a chance to the national championship in Sim in the first season. And at the beginning of the first season, because I upgraded Utah State and BYU. I don't know if BYU is going to beat us, but Utah State sure did. They didn't beat us. They barely beat us. It's, the Battle of the Brothers, which is okay with me. I want to get, them good. And I build up all my rivals on all these dynasties. And then I have to go through with most of them and fix all their recruits because they get crappy recruiting classes, because it's like if it's the Utah State, they get crappy recruiting classes. Or say I got Colorado State, and their rivals are Air Force, Wyoming, and University of Colorado. So you have to go through it and fix all their recruits so they have a good team, or they'll get crappy recruiting classes and then go right back down. It's the way the AI works. It's very much geared towards power structure and making your way up and keeping the power structure, and then having to fight your way up through the power structure so you feel successful. It's psychological, and even if you go and you manipulate it physically, you have to do it for at least 4 years, 4 seasons. And then once you get that, and it's real hard with some teams like New Mexico State or New Mexico, when you're playing with one of those dynasties of New Mexico and New Mexico State, it takes longer than 4 seasons, because even if New Mexico State is winning and going to bowl games and winning, they still stay at a 1-star school. They don't go up to 2, or, when they can go 11-1 or 12-1 and win a decent bowl game and still stay at a 1-star. First couple of years, and then it takes them a while to get up to that. So it's really weird the way the AI works. But it's an engine to make it to maintain the status quo. And so it's training you, conditioning you to be competitive. It's like military training. So, and I was in the military, and most of you are still in the military. The world is pretty much manipulated, not controlled. It's like I told Richard Dawkins' people in Sierra Vista, when the guy from University of Chicago with the psychology department, the thing, the meme or whatever they call it. And I said, no, if it affects our brains, it's like a penis. Okay, you either control it or it controls you. So it's like having the part of the sex organ that tells the penis, hey, I gotta fuck. It's because obviously Sheldon controls it. But then I don't know if he does control it. I don't think he does. I think when it gets to the point where you're like autistic and you don't like to be touched, and it's like raking a rake across the chalkboard and stuff, I think that shows more lack of control than controlling it. Because there's not much better than having an affectionate, sexual, emotional, reproductive love life with a woman. And oh gosh, no. It's wonderful. And when she's good to you and you're good to her, you know. And I think the reason why people don't control it is because of the pain. You know, life's eternal and grace is infinite. The pain involved of, you know, the taking away of that, the loss of it. You know, she gets bit by a rattlesnake like Ellie Zant on a freaking, what's the name of that movie? Centennial. You know, she gets, something bad happens, and that bad takes away your good, and that's hard for some people. Don't even, you know, George Jones songs. Step right in. Would you like to take the grand tour? It'll chill you to the bone. And it's like, well, life's eternal and grace is infinite. Me and Pascal aren't cold. We just understand that love is gratitude for life from the glory of grace. And without that, you can't maintain a good romantic, intimate, sexual affection life. So it's something, somewhat, you have to get human beings to be good people. I was having a talk in my head with the football coach at University of Utah. He was a linebacker at BYU. I was wondering, you root for BYU when they play? You know? You watching the game and hoping they win or hoping they lose because you don't go there. I don't know how people work. I know when people do you wrong, sometimes you don't, screw them. But I don't know if he has that kind of relationship. I didn't want to go there. But sitting there talking about things and talking about people, and I said, no, a lot of people are going to want to die rather than live the Lord's Prayer. A lot of people. And they'll be bored. They'll hate it. We took away their freedom. They took away all their excitement, their adventure. And so, you know, I would, you know, I don't say more power to you, but if someone wants to commit suicide because they do not think they can't live without being able to go to war, kill, rape, murder, pillage, which men have been doing for hundreds of thousands, a long time, right? You know, since the caveman days. So a lot of them are going to want to commit suicide. I think that's a lot of the numbers they have on their genome sequencing of a lot of these people, especially closely connected to them in symbiotic relationships, dying once we're living the Lord's Prayer worldwide. And I think a lot of it is committing suicide. I was worried about people like Barack Obama, but I think Barack will be okay. He's got Sasha Malia, and and I think he might be able to transition from that not being empowered, not being able to feel important thing. Donald Trump, I have more concerns about him emotionally not being able to handle it than Barack Obama. Yeah, I go. I like that Showers kid, yeah, I care about people, and I want them to, you know, well, they connect me to these people, and these people have a deep virtual presence in my life, you know. Hear me talk when none of you do. Hear what I talk in my side. Hear the secrets that you keep when you're talking to sleep. So yeah, I have an emotional connection to these people. They're both presidents. They both have technological access to everything I do. 24/7. If there's anything interesting, they could get updated it in a private meeting in the Oval Office. So yeah, I care about people, and I want them to recover, and I want life's eternal and grace is infinite. We're all connected by the glory of grace. There goes Diego. Okay. All right, guys, I love you. We'll talk later, all right? Peace out.